All right. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. Or as my wife says, Friday. All right, because yay is Friday. Um, this is the Captain's Quarter Show. I am your host, L. Milliner, the Captain. I will be getting started here shortly, but I just want to start the stream a little bit early. I have a special guest joining me at 9 a.m. conversation. So I hope y'all come on in, get comfortable. All right. As you come in, hit that like button. If you're coming through Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and also subscribe and share the video. Share the video. I do appreciate it. Shout out to Jay Isaiah for sharing. Thank you to David Humphrey as well for sharing. I appreciate y'all. But that gets more eyes to the content. So appreciate it if y'all would do that. Let's see here. Let me take care of some maintenance issues. But come on in, get comfortable. Like I said, in about 10 minutes, my guest will be here, Adonus Huffman. We will be having a great conversation about his journey in going from learning how to bowl, all right, learning the game of bowling to going and winning tournaments, all right, around the nation. And so he also has some other obstacles that he faced. And so I'm gonna let him discuss that and tell y'all about some miracles that happened. All right, literal miracles. So we will be getting started here. So come on in, get comfortable, hit that like, appreciate it. And also, if y'all would let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if it's good with me right now, and then once he gets on, let me know if the audio is clear on his end as well. So we don't have any issues there. Y'all know when you're dealing with the internet and different types of electronic equipment, things don't always work correctly. Let's see here. A couple of shares already. Thank y'all. Appreciate you. I'm not sure who shared it, but somebody has already shared it a couple times. I appreciate that. Man, I'm telling y'all something, man. Once again, Alabama Heat is undefeated. The Alabama Heat is undefeated. It is hot. It's not even 9 o'clock yet, and I'm talking about it feels like we down in Miami or somewhere. I mean, this is crazy. Uh, Man, we gotta start walking around with them white things around our heads and stuff, man. We gotta wear those like those sheets, what they wear over the Middle East because of the sun is so hot. You gotta wear like you gotta cover your body, man. We gotta start doing something. I don't know, man. We gotta start get some American flags and make some American. You know what? I just thought about something, man. I guess it'd be like some type of American flag, uh, like a sheet or something. Whatever them people wear over there in Middle East, y'all know what I'm talking about. We need something like that over here. So we gotta protect ourselves, man. It's too hot. Let's see here. Da-da-da. Cool. Got that over there. All right. All right, y'all. Excuse me for a moment. Let me go into my back office real quick. Yeah, I'm still here, people. I'm still here. We are not off the air or nothing like that. Just making sure everything is working good on my end. Again, let me know if the audio is coming through clearly. And once Adonis joins the stream, let me know if you can hear him clearly. All right. But we are here. We will be getting started here momentarily. As y'all come in, again, hit that like, share the video. I do appreciate it. Share it on YouTube as well as Facebook to get more views, to get more access to other people to see the stream. I do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. We're gonna get started here momentarily. I promise. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna bring in my guest, Adonus Huffman, and again, we're gonna see if the audio is working correctly. All right. Can you hear me, buddy?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Captain's Quarters show hosted by Milliner. And with me this morning on this good Friday morning, I have Adonus Huffman joining me. Now, Adonis, go ahead and introduce yourself to those who don't know you, and reintroduce yourself to those who do know you.
Okay. Oh yeah, my name is Adonus Huffman. Me and L have known each other for over a decade now. Um, we just recently just got. We also have a foundation already together. And that's pretty much it. So we're probably gonna talk more about it later on. But I'm gonna let take control of it.
All right. Let's see. I don't know what just happened with the audio.
Can you hear me?
Because I can hear you, but the audio just like flaked a little bit. So now it sounds like kind of like you're in a like a bubble.
Okay, hold on. I'll just.
Test, test. Yeah, unmute you and see. See now it muted you.
Right now. Right now.
Okay.
Sound good?
Test, test. Okay. All right. So if y'all missed what he said, he was basically saying we go back like a decade or so, and he works with this foundation that you see behind him. You see that big old logo right there, the Rat Foundation, Raising Awareness Together Foundation. So that's what he was just telling y'all. Now, so Adonis, man, how old are you?
I'll be 31 this year.
So be 31. So I said that I had about a good 5 years on you, and yeah, so I do. So I'm 36. So so when did you start bowling?
I started bowling, excuse me, in Montgomery around the age of 13 and continued there like bowling with L. Actually, I'm being the youngest person hanging around all of them. And then ended up stopping around age 2021. And I just started back like 3 years ago. And it's been fun. I didn't even know I missed it that much.
I heard that, man.
Yeah.
So when I met you, so that means if you were 13, I was like 18, which is yeah. 'Cause I
Yeah.
had just started bowling at age 17, really like
Ah,
really going to the lanes. You know,
yeah.
back in the day when Woodmere Lanes was over there off Carmichael
Yep.
or Woodmere, whatever that road is right there.
This Carmichael.
Um, yeah, so um, yeah, so that's how we met. And so when you so you're from Montgomery. I want
Yeah.
everybody to know that too.
I'm from Montgomery.
From Montgomery.
Yeah.
So what got you into bowling? Like what brought you to the lanes to even come to bowl?
Man, my dad, he's a big advocate of education because he had nobody to push him when he was younger, so he made sure he pushed all his kids the same way or whatever like that. So as we normally would go out bowling like once or twice a month just for a family thing every Friday. But this lady was there and heard that you can get scholarships for college in bowling. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to put you in here." So that's pretty much how it started. I started there, didn't really take it seriously. I took a summer off and said, "I'm just started back," and I just continued to then.
Okay, okay. So basically it was kind of introduced to you as just a game,
Yep,
just something fun to do. And
yep,
then with it being your dad and saying he's thinking, he's thinking dad role. He's like, okay, future,
yep,
scholarships and so on and so forth.
absolutely.
Um so that's kind of what got you. Okay, cool, cool. Now, at what point did you did you decide to take it seriously to where you wanted to like be in tournaments and that type of thing?
I would say about the age of 15 or 16. That's when I really actually started learning how to hit the ball, aka spin. For most people that don't know bowling, and started doing a little tournaments here and there. Actually got a coach, Lee Jenkins. Shout out to him. And he helped me a good bit to where I'm at today. So
Cool, cool, cool. And you got your start at Woodmere? Was that
yep,
the first bowling alley?
that was the
Okay.
first bowl that I ever bowled. I used to bowl at Bama occasionally, but Woodmere was definitely my home house.
Yeah, man. Woodmere was that spot. It was
Yeah,
the spot, man.
I kind of hated they closed it down. I was hoping they keep both open because Ace is cool, but Woodmere was my home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we used to be up there, man. I know 3 days a week at least. I mean, it
It's
was some
challenging.
days, man. It was some days we would go up there twice in one day. We would go up there that morning, and
Hey,
then that evening or that night
yeah,
when we got like out of school, off work, whatever, we go right back up there.
for sure. Yes.
And I think that I think bowling, when people hear about bowling, they think, it's boring. They think it's just one of those off the radar type of sports. Most people know
Mhm.
about baseball, basketball, football, um, even tennis, but it seems like bowling kind of gets like shoved off to the side, and people don't really take it as a viable sport
Yeah.
or
Which,
something to
because
get
I think
into.
it's, my bad to cut you off. I think it's because people don't really understand it. it takes a lot of physical, even though most bowlers are not the best in shape people or whatever, but it takes a lot of
What you talking about, man? What you talking about, man? Now
but
go ahead.
it takes a lot of physical stuff in it. Like I throw a 15-pound ball. You got people that throw 14, 15, 16. And when we go to these tournaments, it's 6 to 8 to 12 to 15 to 20 plus games that we got to bowl like through a whole weekend or just in one day sometimes. Like me and my partner, we just do a tournament, a 10 game. They last about 7 hours. So picture you throwing a bowling ball for like 6 or 7 hours straight.
Yeah,
That's
man.
not
So
easy.
yeah. Listen to that now. So I know when people think about sports, they say they want the kids to play baseball or football, and it's going to teach them, different life lessons, whether it be teamwork, compromise. It keeps them in shape,
Yeah,
discipline and whatnot.
yeah,
But picture, like, I think sometimes people need to go and try to do this I think sometimes you really learn from doing something.
yeah.
So picture going to the bowling alley, like you said, and spending 6, 7 hours a day going through these tournaments and having to um
Stay mentally
keep a
focused.
focus and keep a rhythm and then also learn the lanes,
Yep.
because every center is different. So
Mhm.
every bowling center is different. So, and you can talk more about that because you way ahead of me on this. Um,
Yeah, for
I,
sure.
I'm just speaking in layman's terms, but yeah, but explain more of what goes into the preparation, and then once you're there with a mindset of bowling for that long.
Preparation for me, I like to. Sometimes you don't like. I just go to Vegas this past weekend. It didn't go great. It went okay, but you have to. They don't give us the lane pattern, which there is invisible order on the lane. Like if you go to these bowling alleys, there's a reason why they don't tell you to step over the foul line because there's order there. But every house has different order. Sometimes every lane has different order. Every lane plays different, even inside of the center, because you have these different topographies inside of the lane. So you might go to one lane, your ball may hook, you go to another lane, it may not hook at all. But for me, the preparation, I look at the length of the pattern, because sometimes it can range from 33 up to even 50 um, feet of oil. And the lane from the foul line to the headpin is around roughly 60 feet. Um, that sometimes surface some houses again like they look more other it's like 3 or 4 different type of wood surfaces that you can use into bowling. It takes a lot. And like I think you've probably heard it too growing up. Bowling is 90% mental and 10% physical, because you can get to a point where your body is I forgot, I can't think of the word right now, but like it just subconsciously does stuff.
Yeah, like maybe like tense up or
Yeah, it's like certain stuff like that. But like he
uh-huh.
said, like Elder said before, you have to be mentally into it to keep yourself there. Because one shot throws off a lot of people's game just because of one misfire, but you got a lot of frames left to fill that in. So
Right. Right. Yeah. Um yeah, thanks for explaining that, man, because I think sometimes that just gets a little bit lost.
yeah,
Cuz people go to the bowling alley and they're usually there with their kids, their family, and they're bowling with their house balls,
yeah,
and they're bowling a couple games, 2, 3 games at the most.
yeah,
And so they're not really experiencing the mental focus that you're gonna need to sustain you for a tournament type of thing.
exactly.
And so people kind of just think, "Oh man, you just run the ball down the lanes. How hard could that be?"
Yeah,
But when you're talking about what you're doing, where you're checking out the oil patterns, you're changing your ball to get the right spin and that type of thing. It takes a lot more because every shot, like you said, counts. It matters. So one shot could ruin a game. You know, it could, or you could be going along and not having the best game, and then you just something changes,
you
and you
got
just like, okay,
man, you
now
got
I know how to roll, and
yeah.
then you come out on top because you figure something out in your bowling. But
Yeah, it's a game you have to constantly motivate yourself to stay in it. It can be very draining. I like to call it a toxic relationship that most bowlers love. It is. It's a very toxic situation, but we love to do it, and it can be a stress reliever as well. So it's good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So so bowling around the country, what's your favorite city to go to as far as bowling? Like the just the best lanes, best atmosphere and everything.
I would say, I would honestly say around the Atlanta area. It's closer, but I would say around the Atlanta area. Florida is cool too. Vegas is just super competitive. Around the Atlanta area, it's competitive, but also they keep fun with it. You feel what I'm
Mm.
saying? So it doesn't become too serious or people just get angry and throw stuff all the time and stuff like that. I would say Atlanta.
Okay, okay. Um now let's kind of go back a little bit. And I want to kind of talk about some specific things that occurred in your life.
Mhm.
So tell us about this health incident
Oh yeah,
or a couple of incidents that occurred, man, and kind of try to put a wedge in your life there,
yeah.
and take you to a different place. Talk about that.
So I probably remember you talking about earlier. I stopped bowling around 2021. Stopped doing that. Just started doing other stuff. Just life got out of whack. Went down the wrong direction. But January 19th, 2016, I was working for Aaron's, actually the furniture company. And as me and my buddy are going out to the truck to do some deliveries or whatever, I fall out. So they were thinking I'm having a seizure or just planning or some stuff like that. So come to find out, I had cardiac arrest right then and there. And if you know what cardiac arrest, if you don't revive that person within 5 to 6 minutes, they're completely gone. Well, I didn't get revived until like 20 minutes later because if everybody knows where the old Aaron's was on Fairview, that's where I worked at. Then you got Baptist right up the street. It doesn't make any sense to show up 20 minutes late to even get there, but it is what it is. But
Wow.
they showed me there. They showed up, revived me, got me in the ambulance, got to the hospital, Baptist, died again. Then it revived me again. So then they had to put me in a 3-day coma to preserve so I wouldn't get any more brain damage and all that stuff like that. And ended up telling my family that I had a 5% chance to live. And if I did live, I would be a vegetable. While dealing
Wow.
with that at the same time too, I don't know why I was this part, but in that 3-day coma, I was dealing with pneumonia in the lungs also. So it was just a lot going on. And I definitely thank the Most High for getting me through it because I had to learn how to walk again, eat again. Literally, I had to start my whole life back over. I couldn't. I had a
Wow.
degree in electrical technology, which just being an electrician, but I couldn't use that anymore because I had a defibrillator in my chest, so I can't be around certain magnetic force fields and all this stuff like that. So I had to go back to school, end up getting a graphic design degree, then switched over to get a computer science degree, and that's what I do today.
Oh man, that's a huge testimony, man. I mean, most people don't have that type of life event happen to
Yeah,
where they died twice and for that long. Like you said, you need to revive somebody or start doing it in like 5 minutes. Like you
yeah,
need to do it immediately.
yep,
20 minutes is a lifetime when you're
yes,
talking about somebody going into cardiac arrest.
yep.
And then you said that the doctors were saying that you know, wouldn't be able to like, be the same, walk and talk the
Yeah,
same,
I'd
and
be a vegetable if I if
you
I
be
like if I did live.
and here you are, man, talking to me, and you regular old Adonis, man. You that same Adonis that I knew before 2016.
Yeah, I'm blessed, man. I'm definitely blessed. I'm blessed to have the family I have to even be able to get my life back in that order. Because they sacrificed a lot. My mom's sister, dad, mom, even my brother-in-law, he sacrificed a lot to help me out. And I'm very thankful for that. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to get close back to where I'm at right now. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. Shout out to the family, man. It's so important. Family is so important.
yes, it is.
Um, and let's talk about that a little bit too.
Mhm.
So, you were raised here in Montgomery.
Yep.
How'd you grow up?
I grew up. We call it the South Side. It's over there. I don't know if you remember where Main Event used to be at. but
Oh
we
yeah,
kind
oh
of
yeah,
trying to
over there off of yeah, the southern like East Southern
Cowboy.
Boulevard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I
Woolly Road.
grew up back there. Of course, I was getting in trouble all the time. I was one of those trouble kids. Now I got suspended for fighting, like I would say from third grade to probably about 10th grade, at least once a year. And it was just being raised in that environment of just fighting and just getting in trouble all the time. I didn't even really look at it as a super bad thing until I got older. I was like, yeah, I deserve all the whoopings I got. So you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much how I grew up. Grew up around that area, or right across the street from Ridge, Chris. And I went to Lanier. I didn't go to Bellingraph. My parents didn't even want me to go to Lanier because they thought I was going to get into even more trouble because it's basically going to be the same people I hang out with in the neighborhood. So, but I had to my 10th grade year. So, but I ended up
Yep.
going to Brubaker, then JD. I graduated from JD.
Okay, so you went out for a second. We lost you, but you said that you went to Brubaker junior high.
Yeah, I went to Brubaker Junior High.
Okay,
Then 10th grade, I went to Lanier. Then I ended up going to graduated from JD I went to JD from 11th to 12th grade.
okay, okay. And so in your home life, so do you have both your mom and dad,
Yep.
and your siblings?
Yep, mom and dad, brother and sister. So I'm the baby out of three. So
Okay. Um, and so how would you say? Because my show right here, man, we like to. I definitely always talk about the family. I talk about different type of social issues and things and education and whatnot.
sure,
So like, give us paint a picture of the importance that you see looking back. How important it was to have your mom and your dad being there for you
it is
from a
absolutely
child.
it is absolutely important because I am like still think about some of the stuff my dad used to do when I was little, and when I was little I didn't understand. But now that I'm older and I understand everything my dad did was for a reason because he already been through it and he understands what the world has out there for black men or men just in general. So he helped me a lot during the summers. He was still preaching education. We had to do reading, math, and all and history stuff. Mainly just reading and math before we did anything. So first time we got it was like we were still in school, like for like 3 or 4 hours. Then we can go play once we did all that stuff. So yeah,
Yep.
it's very important because my daddy he just dripped that discipline also because he the one that ended up getting me into boxing. He got me into bowling. So now these things take discipline to do. And he's also being that father at the house by doing all that as well, being the discipline. Hey, you need to do this at this particular time. You need to go run. You need to go lift weights. You need to do all that stuff. You need to go look at this on the internet to learn this. So he taught me a lot about discipline. Of course, my mom did the mom thing, loving, caring, cooking, showing me about hygiene and all that stuff like that. But yeah, it's very important to have both parents in the house. Very
Yeah.
important.
Absolutely,
It's a
man.
tough job doing it. Like I said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you mentioned it earlier about when you're kids and you grow up in certain environments.
Yeah,
Um, even a child, oftentimes people say that it's not about having your mom and your dad because there's kids that grew up with a mom and dad and they're serial killers and all type of things.
for sure.
Um, but the thing is, if we're looking at the best type of option, the best situation, it's just the best situation to have both, the mom and dad because you get to see both sides of the coin at the same time.
Yep.
Um, and then also when you're in an environment that you grew up in and that I grew up in, there are people around that are raised differently. They don't have the same moral standards.
Yep.
They their thing is to get you caught up with them
Yep.
and bring you
You went out for a second.
you
Yeah.
out to the streets to go. You were, middle school, high school. You kind of got caught up in some things because the environment kind of brings certain things out of you.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but you overcame that, and I think I would say a big part of you not going that continuing down that road is because you had that foundation at the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, definitely, and like I said, I grew up around people with single moms, even both parents in the house. But like you said, it depends on how they perceive their environment. It was always something in me because you can have like I had great parents; they did what they could, but it's still kids. They were in my predicament. They can end up following me. But it was something always in me to always want either better or not wanting to go too deep far down that path or whatever. Like, it was just something I always. I don't know what it was. It's still in me today to not go ahead and do that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it just depends on really the kid at the end of the day. The parents can only do so much, but yeah, that's it.
So let me ask you this. Are you a man of faith? I knew earlier you said, the creator, brought you back.
Yeah.
Um, are you a man of faith? Is that something that you kind of like live by, or tell me about that?
I'm more of a spiritual person. I don't necessarily do with religion. It's just I'm not really against it. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. It's just more for me, more spirituality. It's just better for me in my mental state.
Okay. All right. Um, Now let's get back to the bowling thing.
Yeah.
Now you're part of this organization, and as a matter of fact, I had to support my guys,
Oh
over
man,
there, over there at the Raising Awareness Together Foundation.
I
Oh,
appreciate
excuse me,
that,
Raising
man.
Awareness Together.
Oh wow,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
dope. That's dope,
So, I have not worn this shirt. I've had this for like 2 months. I
bro.
have not worn this shirt. I'm not going to wear this shirt out to the lanes, at least to the lanes,
Yeah.
because I haven't earned it. Right. So I take bowling, serious enough to where if I'm not if I'm not up to par, at least for what my up to par is, I'm not finna wear the shirt until I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my thing up here.
Well, and that's the great thing about like what we do as a foundation is to get bowling back to where it was like when we were doing it when we were younger. So we do it for all type of skill sets. It doesn't even matter, man. We just try to make it fun for everybody because that's slightly the problem we have actually in bowling right now. It's like people like you get punished for being super good, right?
Mm.
And if you're at an okay level, there's a gap between there, so everybody is beefing amongst each other. If we just work together, it'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, how long have y'all had this organization, this group?
We've had it for roughly 3 years.
Okay.
As soon as I got back
Um,
into bowling, like I ended up meeting my buddy Scott Reeves. We probably knew each other roughly 8, 9 months, and then me and him got started talking because I wanted to get back into it more, and I realized the sport of bowling when I got back into it, I was like, it's nothing like what it used to be, like whatsoever. So we started talking. We ended up shooting each other ideas and ended up coming up with Rat Foundation and pretty much what we do now. We do Century Club. Century Club is if you shoot 200 or 100 plus or 100 minus gap. So if you shoot 200 and then your next game is a 100, that's a Century Club. So it's a 100 pin difference. Whatever. So we do stuff
oh,
like that. Also the Lit Club, just to make it fun, man. Because now bowling you see it now is just not fun. Like people are scared to bowl bad. They love to bowl good, which is cool, but you have to bowl bad in order to get better. So don't be ashamed of bowling bad. It is what it is. I just bowled terrible. I just shot a 400 in freaking Vegas, but turn around and end up shooting to even average 200 the next day, over 200. So it is what it is. Don't
yeah, man.
don't
Yeah.
be so
So,
full of yourself. Just let your ego go and just let it hang out because you could be helping the next person that's like afraid to bowl bad, they might get ready to quit. No, don't quit. Just keep going. Get better.
that's right. That's right. Um, so when y'all have these tournaments and things,
Mhm.
what age groups do y'all reach out to or allow to be in the tournament?
Everybody. We support the youth and we support the adults. Like the tournament that you came to is mainly it's a mixture of both. What we do right now, once a year, we do a youth tournament, and those divisions range from I want to say five basically on up to 18, and we have like 6 different divisions. Can't remember the actual gap right now, but it's like 6 different divisions of kids, and we that we have each winner gets a bowling ball, a jersey, Brett Foundation jersey, also a signed EJ Tackett jersey, which he's pretty much the top bowler right now in the world. So yeah, that's
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. And so do y'all like cater or do y'all partner with certain lanes?
right now we just do it at Bama Lanes because they have been the most supportive one, but we are happy to do it with anybody else if it makes sense.
Okay. All right. Good deal. So have you seen I guess in the last, couple years that you've been bowling, like how has the interest changed or been the same or whatever? Like have you noticed the difference in the people that are coming to the bowling alley?
Absolutely, especially with me with us doing the century thing. We get messages a lot a week and get tagged and post about it, just making it fun. So that part of it to me, and also the Lily thing, if you lose the 5-7-10, that just I see that growing more and more, and people are just getting more happy and not getting upset because they bowled bad. They're just happy to get posted and just slightly being made fun of. It is what it is. So yeah, I've definitely seen a difference.
Yeah, man, I gotta make that list, man. I gotta get out there and make that list, man. Get on that century. 'Cause at least if I'm on the list, that means that I'm doing something and I'm gonna be able to improve.
There
You
you
know.
go. There you go. That's how you gotta look at it right there. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, let's go. I want to go a little bit. To me, look, man, I don't think this is even controversial, but I'm asking you because you bowled in a profession. Real quick, are you considered a professional bowler?
Yeah, now I'm considered a professional bowler.
Okay, all right. So I'm not misspeaking. All right, this
Mhm.
dude right here is a professional bowler. All right, that I got on my show that is a buddy of mine. We go way back. Yeah, so I saw him from the beginning. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
all right, so what I'm going to ask you is when it comes to bowling, I want to talk about just bowling specifically. Do you see is there an issue with males bowling as females or females bowling as males, and so those two cross and mix together? Do you see an issue with that? Because that's a big thing in sports today.
Not really. It's just it's kind of uh it's common sense. I'll just put it like that. It's like the women know the men strike more because of the power that we can generate. But there are some women out there nowadays that generate the same amount of power and can just strike just as much as we can. Like right now the women's U.S. Open is going on. I want to say Diana. I don't can't remember her last name. She just broke the record for having the highest 8 game series average. I think she averaged like 250 or something like that. So she can strike just as
Wow.
much as I can or DJ Tackett can. So it's not really, there's really not a fuss about that because most women are like, yeah, the guys strike more because of what they can generate. And it's kind of blatant
Mhm.
as day on the lanes. Like we can throw it harder, we can generate more revolutions, we can cover more area, and all that stuff. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I remember there was a tournament. It was on the TV. I can't remember what year that was, but it was a lady. There was a tournament, so it was a mixed tournament. So you had like your top bowlers on the men's side, then you had the top women,
Yeah.
and whatever the woman was, she won.
Yeah.
She won the whole thing.
Kelly Kulick. Kelly Kulick.
Yes,
That's
that's her
exactly
name.
what it
That
was.
was
Yeah,
her.
she dominated that time. So it's very possible. And I
Yeah.
honestly think from a like me being a bowler, women are overall better because they're more accurate. And bowling it's not necessarily a game of super accuracy, but they are way more accurate than the man can be. So I would say
Mm.
fundamentally and just accuracy wise, they are actually better. We just so happen to strike more because the game requires power and there's all type of math involved in physics. So yeah.
Right. And I think I'll say this, like I think that the when you go to the bowling alley, the pins are the same distance no matter who's bowling,
Yep.
right? You be a 5-year-old or a 50-year-old, 80-year-old, it doesn't matter.
Same
The
pound.
pins are still going to be in the same spot. Your foul line or your fault line is going to be in the same spot. So like now whether the ball that you get is maybe weighs a different amount of weight or whatever, oh, that's doesn't matter because you still have the same pins to hit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whereas you got other sports that it's different. The different parameters of the game.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, I appreciate you answering that, and I can definitely see that. I think that when it comes to bowling, it's a sport that I see it just being it's great to have it be mixed.
Yeah.
I think that'll bring more eyes to it and more people that'll want to be a part of it and say,
Yeah.
okay, I can, yeah, we can bowl together. So it's not this separation
Absolutely.
like a basketball, for example.
Yep, absolutely. It's not that. It's a sport that's still trying to get out there because some people consider it super. It's a luck sport, which I don't think so. Which in some cases it is, but every sport you have to be lucky and some type has to have some type of luck in it for you to be successful in it. But if you
Right.
got others being more successful than others or striking more than others, it's not necessarily luck. I think that's just skill because it's not easy to shoot 250, 230 on some of these patterns that these professionals do. Like some people think, because you'll watch TV, it's like, oh, they're shooting 190, 200 or something like that. Oh, I can go do that. Not the same.
Uh-huh.
It's not the same whatsoever.
Yeah, tell it, man. Tell it.
Uh,
'Cause I really people just I think they really think it's easy. Like they think it's like really easy until you go out there or you go to a different place and you're like, okay, my ball isn't acting the same way it was acting when I was in Montgomery at whatever place. And
exactly.
it's like it's just like you said, it comes to a lot of mathematics, a lot of science, and
Yep.
I'm sure that's like what was it, physics
Yep.
and all type of I went to college, man, but I didn't take I took physics one course of physics. I was done. And so but yeah, like it's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And I think people really need to as far as young people, it would be great to have kids get more involved in doing it because it's one of those sports. I did on my show the other day. I said, bowling is good. It's great because it's no contact, so
There
you
you
don't have to
go.
worry about basketball, soccer, football, your kid getting injured like that. Now there's other things that you got to worry about, but as far as contact is no contact.
Hmm.
Um, it helps you be disciplined, like you talking about earlier, focus. Um, and it's an individual thing to where to me bowling is like you against yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're bowling against other people, but you're trying to improve yourself,
Yep.
and so you're in competition with your own records, and you're in competition with others. But it's more of a team atmosphere where everybody's like, hey, like yeah, we're competing, but we're still all wanting to beat each other up at the
Yep.
same time. That's what my experience has been.
It is definitely way better. 'Cause I haven't played football, I haven't played basketball and all that stuff, but you can even see it's very tough to get into football, basketball at that high level because most of it is just politics. You have some certain politics in bowling, but it's very hard to fight that in bowling because just like you said, it's an individual thing. You don't necessarily have to be on the PBA tour to be the biggest thing in bowling. I got a buddy now, his name is AJ Rice, best left-handed best amateur in the freaking country. If you ask me, to be honest with you, the man averages 250 without with his eyes closed. So but and he's very known or whatever like that. So it's just an individual thing that you can actually control. Because I used to do music. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I was in it pretty heavy. I used to go just be in Atlanta all the time, and I got out of it because it was super political. You really couldn't control what you wanted to do. You couldn't control your destiny.
Hold on, I
So
might have to.
when I started
So
back bowling,
real quick, man. I want to interrupt you, but go back. You were saying about the music, and then you kind of like cut out for a second. I want to make sure
oh my bad.
everybody hears that.
Oh yeah, I was doing music in Atlanta. I was dealing with this particular label a lot. It was a lot of famous. I'm not going to call the name or whatever like that. But I was dealing with this particular. It had a lot of popular hours on it. But I'm realizing that it's super political. No matter how good you are, doesn't mean anything. It depends who you know. who you can kiss up to and all this stuff like that. And I'm not that type of person to kiss up to nobody. Like I'm just raw talent. It is what it is. Either take it or leave it. So I just left and just, I didn't care. It is what it is. I still wanted my morals. I still wanted me, how I am as a person, as a man, and all this stuff like that. So came back, started bowling. I was like, I have way more control over this. Control of my destiny. So I can make it whatever I want to make it. And that's why I say I want a lot of kids to get into bowling because, like you said, it's non-contact. You still got 60-year-olds out here competing and making a lot of money. So it's forever, it just depends on you. With football, once you hit 30, 31, they're trying to get rid of you. Same thing with basketball. Once you hit a certain age, they're trying to get rid of you off the team. But with bowling, it's up to you.
Yeah. Who's the oldest active bowler that you aware of right now?
Say it again.
In like PBA or like that, that goes on the tournament circuit.
What's the oldest?
Yeah, yeah, the oldest active person right now.
I actually have no idea. I know for sure because the PBA has the PBA 50 and they also have the PBA 60. So you have people in their 60s still competing. And I know one now, his name is Bob Learn Jr. You can go look him up, Mr. 300. He has the record for the most 300s, I want to say, in the PBA. He holds the record for the highest 3 or 4 game series on TV. But yeah, he's 60 and still striking it to death.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So the shelf life in bowling is very
limitless.
high. It probably is one of the highest. I mean,
Yeah,
probably up there with maybe even higher than golf. I don't think there's guys in their 60s like that playing golf. I don't think
nope.
so.
Nope. 'Cause even if they are, they can't hit the ball the same. But with bowling, it's the same thing happens. You might lose a couple revolutions, you might lose ball speed and all that stuff like that. But you can still strike. You can still find a way to strike and do all that stuff. So yeah, definitely has
Yeah,
to me, I think has the longest longevity as sports wise.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hey man, we coming up on the end. I know you got better things to worry about today.
Oh, it's all good.
Um,
I
but
appreciate you
but
having me on.
yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time out to come here and talk and let people know real quick how can they get in contact with you or your foundation.
Oh, you can, of course, contact me on Facebook at AdonisHuffman.com, like my name right here. And my foundation, you can look up Rat Foundation on Facebook and it'll be right there.
Awesome, awesome. And I will link everything for you guys to go check them out. But once again, man, I appreciate you being on here and talking and schooling us on the game and giving us your testimony. Really, I would say as far as things that you've dealt with and overcome.
Yes, sir. I
And
appreciate
it's
you
awesome
allowing
to
me to
have
share.
you around, man, for real.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Hopefully
man.
we can
Take
do
care,
this
bro.
again.
Yeah, man. Take care, man. I we'll be in contact.
All right, gotcha.
All right now.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Adonus Huffman. Um, I think people need to get more involved in different activities that can keep these kids busy and be something that's very productive. And bowling is one of those things that anybody can do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How old you are or how skilled you are, you can always grow your skill level with anything that you do. Everything that you do, it takes practice to get better at it, whether it's doing music, sports, um, going to school and doing math, it's just practice, repetition, and discipline. So that was awesome. Let's see here. Let's see here now. Let me speaking of man, speaking of keeping the kids busy and that type of thing, because man, these streets are relentless. All right, these streets don't have love. These streets, these streets, hold no prisoners, man. They are deadly. WSFA News right here in Montgomery, and apparently the MPD has said something about the crime or some suggestions of how to reduce crime. Let's see what they got to say. Last time, you know, Mayor Reed sent the acting, he's not even the interim, but the acting chief of police in here in Montgomery. He sent him on a field trip to Fort Worth, Texas to learn about reducing crime. So now let's see what the MPD has to say about some new development or whatever. Maybe they learned something. Let's see.
Violent crime has many in the river region searching for answers.
Some say it's up to law enforcement, but while police departments do respond to crime, they can't always prevent it from happening.
And that's where the community comes in. Tonight, the Montgomery Police.
Boy, was they? Hold on a second. Were they listening to the radio show the other day? We did the radio show and we got to talk about this very thing. And I'll talk about that a little bit more after this video.
Police Department is offering ways you can get involved to help keep your neighborhood safe. Our Monet Stevens has the story.
Montgomery residents demand a reduction in crime, but Community Policing Lieutenant Willie Stewart says achieving that will require effort from both law enforcement and the community.
Well, we want the community to work with us. That's the only way we're going to solve a lot of these crimes here in the city.
That means getting involved in organizations that tackle crime.
Community meetings, neighborhood watch meetings. When we often do our park walk and talk, it's an opportunity for us to go out and engage the community.
Also, people can join the Citizens Police Academy. That's a multi-week course designed to educate the public on daily police duties.
Once you go through those 8 weeks of our academy, you can also join what we call our volunteers in police service.
Appreciate us coming and checking on their houses for them.
Volunteer Officer Terry Fetzer says the service provides an extra set of eyes and ears, giving officers more time to focus on more pressing matters.
It kind of gives me satisfaction helping the police and the community.
Lieutenant Stewart says in order to create a safer Montgomery, everyone has to work together.
Hold on a second, man. Hold on. Am I missing something? Volunteer in police. Hold on a second. VIPs. Let me go back.
Once you go through those 8 weeks of our academy, you can also join what we call our volunteers in police service.
Volunteers in police service, also known as VIPs, do courtesy checks on homes while residents are away.
Taking some of the pressure off of them to go out and check. And we know that the people appreciate us coming and checking on their houses for them.
Hold on a second. How long has this been a part of the city? Like, are they a part of MPD? Are they a part of the city? Are they on city payroll, or are they just merely volunteers? They do it for free. Like, I'm confused right now. Who has known about this? What? That the other policeman said that you go through the 8-week training, and then you can join the VIPs, the volunteer in police service, or whatever it's called. What? Okay, hold on. I'll let it finish.
Volunteer Officer Terry Fetzer says the service provides an extra set of eyes and ears, giving officers more time to focus on more pressing matters.
It kind of gives me satisfaction helping the police and the community.
Lieutenant Stewart says in order to create a safer Montgomery, everyone has to work together.
We can't do it all. We can't be everywhere at all times. That's why we depend on the community to help us out.
Lieutenant Stewart says not only private citizens can get involved, churches, nonprofits, local organizations can also get involved in this effort. Val?
All right, thanks a lot. Anyone interested in attending the Citizens Police Academy or joining the VIPs program, you can contact MPD's Community Policing Bureau.
The department's Community Policing Bureau. Interesting. Man, they need all the help in the world they can get, like, no lie. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Um, I have not heard of that. I wonder how long that's been around. I know they're doing the part-time police. I know I saw that. They're trying to they're trying to do the part-time police, hire those guys because man, they're so short-handed. They need some everybody. But yeah, it's interesting that the guy mentioned police are not able to, prevent all crime. Or the lady said that on the news. They're not able to prevent all crimes. And we were talking about that on News Radio 1440 AM this past Wednesday morning, from 8 to 10 AM. I was we all right. Kevin Elkins is the host of the show. And so we were discussing crime in Montgomery and policing. And, I was talking about, police prevent crimes because when you're able to active police, which means that you're pulling over speeders, you're pulling over people that are driving recklessly, or you're going to investigate a person who's in an area that they look suspicious being in, or something like that, right? When you're police and you do that from pulling somebody over for speeding, well, now you're asking them for information that they may or may not have, right? Driver registration, driver license, proof of insurance, and then that may lead to, hey, I smell such and such in your car, or some other thing, or they run their name and they have a warrant, right? You may take a murderer off the streets. You may take a person off the streets that's about to go and commit another crime, right? And you've now prevented that crime from happening because you pulled them over for speeding initially. So I was making that point, right? And so for some reason, Kevin and Pastor Willie were like, they can't, we gotta look past that because, you know, the police are making arrests, or, they can't really prevent crime and stuff. And it's like, but they can though. They actually can. And our caller called in and he said, yeah, they can, because you can't quantify police preventing crime. It's like you stop something from happening from being present. And sometimes you may not even know that you're stopping the crime from happening, because you're not aware that they were going to commit the crime, but they know they were going to commit the crime, right? But now they're not going to do it because you're there, or you just took their weapon from them, or you just arrested them, or whatever the case is. And so whatever they're going to do down the road, at least in the very near future, they can't do it. So you've prevented something else from happening. And we know that a lot of these men and women that get arrested for violent crimes in Montgomery and beyond, when they bond out, they often go right back to doing violent crime, right? Hence the young lady who not really, I ain't gonna call her a lady, but that the woman that was involved in Amy Dick's shooting, right? She got arrested, bonded out, and then what did she do? She went straight back to doing criminal activity and went and stole some firearms or something and went right back to jail. And I believe she got right back out, right? Do y'all think she's going to, now all of a sudden not commit any more crime? I doubt it, right? But when you do arrest her, you're stopping something else from happening potentially, right? Or it's just, I don't know, man. I think sometimes people just want to defend Mayor Reed at all costs. I don't know really exactly why that is. I don't know if it's because, um, maybe there's somebody else that they really want to stick it to as far as put the blame on that person, or maybe it's because Mayor Reed is, he identifies as a black man, and we don't want to beat up on the black man too much, right? Figuratively speaking. Although I think many would like to, um, but I think people just kind of go out of their way to defend the guy. And my whole thing on the show Wednesday morning was for them first like 30 minutes or so, I was not going to let us move the conversation off of the square that we were on. We were on a square talking about crime here in Montgomery. And the person who's responsible as far as the public is concerned is the mayor, right? The mayor runs Montgomery, according to what he said. He runs Montgomery, he runs MPD, he's the CEO of the city of Montgomery. So therefore, anything that happens, good or bad, in the city is a reflection of him. Whether he went out there and did it himself, speaking about certain crimes or whatever, we all know, like, people love to say, he's not the one shooting somebody. He's not the one. We know that. We're not idiots. We know he's not the one out there doing it. Okay. But because he's in leadership and it's happening a lot, we're not talking about like these one-off situations where it's just, every now and then an anomaly occurs where there's a killing. There's killing happening a lot. All right. And so, and it's gotten worse. And part of the reason why it got worse is because we've got less police officers. Don't forget, this man in leadership for the city of Montgomery, he was wanting to defund police too back in 2020. I don't know if people just forgot that. I'm not sure, but we had a certain amount of police officers before he came into office, and after he got into office, police started leaving in droves. What changed? What changed? Well, leadership changed. We went from one mayor to another mayor. Okay? It's like you walk into a store that has been, man, every time you go there, the employees are nice, smiling, greeting you, asking you if you need help finding something. When you get to checkout, they're helping you out. They check you out fast. Well, clearly I'm not talking about Walmart because they don't have cashiers. But you go to the store and they're eager to help you. They want you to have a great shopping experience. And then you come back to that store, 5 months later, and you walk in the door, nobody speaks to you. You look at somebody, you tell the employee hello, they lean at you like, why are you even here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what changed? And then you find out, oh, they got a new manager. The other manager done moved up and left, moved on. And they got another manager in there. That's what changed. Like the culture shifted from being customer service aware, right? To, man, why we don't even want y'all customers in here. You know what I'm saying? Why are you even here? We don't need your money. That's what's changed. And so when it comes to Montgomery, we can't get away from the mayor being the issue. And he's the first line as far as he's the start of the issue and start of the solution, right? It starts with him and it really ends with him, for real, if we really want to be honest about it. And the state has its responsibility and accountability for certain things, as well as the judges have a responsibility and they should be held accountable as well. I don't, I've been saying all of this, but before you can look at the state or judges or the president or whoever else, we have to look at who's operating the city, who's in charge of the city, and what is he doing or not doing. Because the state can make all kind of laws, right? They got a law against panhandling. Well, do y'all see the panhandlers being arrested or, or not as many of them or something? Every time I go down the Atlanta highway or go up the interstate and get off the exit, they're everywhere. So the law is there, but the state doesn't enforce the law. The city enforces the law through police. You know, like these are the basic branches of government, right? Basic branches of government. So the police enforce the law. The states, the legislature make the laws. They don't enforce anything. They make them. It's up to the city to enforce it. And if they're not enforcing it, then what happens is you end up having, when you don't enforce certain laws, you end up having those laws broken, as well as other laws will be broken, because people feel more comfortable living a life of crime because they know I'm not gonna go to jail. If I do, I'm gonna get right back out. But these police are so busy, they ain't worried about me. I can go do something, commit a crime. They can call the police. They ain't gonna make it till about an hour or two later. I'm gonna be long gone, right? That's what happens. If you can't do the small things, the big things take over. And that's what's really happening in Montgomery. It is not hard. I'm not sure why we as citizens of Montgomery are not expecting the city to just do certain things to show action, right? Like, for example, all the people who are panhandling or whatever people want to say. I know people want to make it, they all homeless or whatever. Cool. Y'all want to be soft and say all that. That's fine. We'll go that route. They're homeless. Pull them, right? They got put out on the streets. They didn't do anything to put themselves in that position. All right, cool. Well, they there now. And so why can't police go out there and actively police as far as going doing checks on people? Hey, what kind of, they got drugs on them. They're gonna probably have illegal weapons that they probably shouldn't have. They probably gonna have warrants. At least some, like, why can't these things just be done? Instead, what does MPD do? What does the city do? Hey man, I had MPD officer told me this. They told me that the police cannot, or at least are told or whatever, they can't tell these people, these homeless people, panhandlers, to move off of city property. So therefore, that's why you see them on every median. You see them out on the highways and all that by Chantilly and the East Chase and Atlanta Highway, and they're all up and down everywhere because they're on city property. So the police can't legally, or at least what they've been told, they can't go and make them move or arrest them or nothing like that. But if they go to private property, like let's say a business, and a business manager or owner, whoever says, hey, this person's over here, we need him, to leave, then the police can do that because that's private property, right? They can be told to leave or they can be trespassed or whatever. But apparently, see, the city just don't care. They don't care. To me, that's the easiest thing for the city to do, to show me that like they really do care about the city and cleaning it up, would be to sweep certain areas and just get people off the street. To me, that's the easiest thing to do. I don't see anything hard about that. The law's on your side. It's not like you're breaking the law. Your people are actively committing. They're breaking laws in front of you. They have shopping carts that don't belong to them. They stole those from somebody or somewhere, some business. A lot of the stuff that they have in the cart is items that have been stolen. I mean, come on, like they got drugs and some everything. They're participating in prostitution. There's all type of laws being broken. So why can't they just actively go out there and say, look, we're gonna hit Carmichael Road at whatever time, and they go over there, and then you got, man, probably 20 people in one spot, 20 people, and out of them 20, you probably gonna have at least 10 that got drugs or a warrant or something. Boom, take them to jail. You could just do that and just start doing that more often and cleaning up these areas, man. I don't understand why us as citizens aren't just saying this, like, go do this. Like prevent from, you know, going further down into the pits of hell. Like, what could they do? Now the judges, to, I think the judges at this point, I think the judges play a more direct role in as far as dealing with the criminals, because there are certain judges, not all of them, but there are certain judges that they do not, you know, they're very soft, and so they let these people get out of jail. They give them low sentences and all type of things, and so those people are going to commit crimes again. But you know, most, not all, but most will commit more crime, and sometimes they even commit more serious crimes the next time. So the judges play a huge role in it. But like I said, if the city is not, you know, being run the right way by the right person, then we don't need to look at the judges for real. That's not, you know, we need to look right here. Nothing outweighs, nothing overrules the local city government. Wherever you live, your mayor, your councilor, like whatever, you know, whatever they, I think in Chicago they got them, they call them something else. Um, oh man, I can't think of the word. I think it starts with an A. But they don't call them city councilors. They call them something else. With I think it starts with an A. But wherever you are in the country, like whoever your local elected people are, that's who you need to be worried about. What are they doing? Because if they're not doing their job, you know, there's nobody else that you can look to say, hey, come fix this like that. It's not really, you know, now in the city of Montgomery, we may be maybe, you know, next year or two or whatever, there may be a bill that a new law gets passed, because the state is talking about it, where if crime reaches a certain level, that the state will come in and basically take over the local police department of that city, and they will hire the police chief, fire the police chief, and run the department. Right, the mayor will just be, you know, that'd be one less thing to worry about as far as on the mayor's plate. They're talking about doing that. Um, I'm, you know, I'm a person, man. I don't really like a lot of government being involved in certain things. Um, but in regards to the local, if the local government isn't doing their job, then I don't necessarily see or have an issue with the state government saying, "Look, y'all are, you know, doing this job miserably. Let us come in and restore order," right? Kind of like what they did with MPS school system, right? The state came in because the MPS was just terrible. It's still terrible, but the state came in and, you know, kind of took over. And so I think, you know, I don't really have an issue with that necessarily. It's unfortunate that it's even on the table. It's very unfortunate that it's on the table, an option, something that people are looking to implement and say, look, this is what we're gonna have to do to stop the bleeding, because it's terrible. It's terrible. Um, there are so many failings of this administration over 5 years. So many failings that it's like, you know, usually you can look at uh, a certain person or a certain role and say, well, everything was cool until this right here happened, right? But with this one, it's not that. It's been since day one. You know, you have a person that came in with the mindset of, and this is just my, you know, this is my opinion, right? Allegedly, he came in with the mindset that he wants to be somebody in politics outside of Montgomery, right? Montgomery being mayor is just a stepping stone for the next big thing, right? I believe, based on his actions and the way he carries himself and what he talks about and where he is most of the time, which is not in Montgomery, I think that he came in with the mindset of he wants to be a big dog up in Washington. He wants to get the Congress or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. President is like something he wants to do, but I think he wants to be in DC. He wants to be one of those swamp rats. He wants to be a swamp rat with the rest of them, and just be a guy who he goes in at whatever age he is, and he'll be there for the next 40 years until he dies. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what he wants. He wants to be a part of that cabal that's up in there in DC. The people who don't, a lot of people that don't care about what goes on in our lives, they just out to make the next dollar. They out to get the votes. They out to keep the power and control. I think he's one of those people. In Montgomery, we're just a stepping stone. And so by him, what he's concerned with and what I think he sees as his way out, his way up the ladder, is come to Montgomery, you become the mayor, you bring in a lot of economics, you build a lot of relationships with people, and the more, pockets that get greased, the higher up the ladder you can go, the better the relationships get. And so in doing that, crime is not on the radar because who cares? If your thing is, hey, I'm gonna come in here and bring this industry, that industry. I brought this new thing, this museum came, and while I'm building everything looks like it's being built up. It looks to be built up, right? As long as it looks a certain way, and as long as he's making meeting the right people, building the right relationships, he's going to be able to make his exit, right? To go up the ladder. And like I said, crime has nothing to do with that because why would you care about crime when you think about money? And he's not thinking about small business money. He's thinking about corporation money. There's a difference. So, crime was never on his radar for real. He claimed it in his ad. He had an ad that ran in 2019 talking about crime. He's gonna be tough on crime and how he wanted to implement different technologies for crime prevention and all that type of stuff. And I mean, he's done nothing. Nothing has been done in regards to crime. We've gone the exact opposite way, right? Instead of being tough on crime, he's been so soft on it that it's so out of control now. I mean, there's not too much that can be done, really. I mean, to be real, at this point with him, there's not really anything that can really be done because he's not going to do it. It's things that can be, I'll correct that. There are things that can be done, but he's not the person that's going to do it because he hasn't done it in 5 years. Why would we think in 2024 he's going to change? So, that's just my views on that. That's my views on that. I'm gonna have to clip this right here. Because I think a lot of people are missing. They're missing it. They're thinking, he's bought out and sold on building up Montgomery, and they're talking about all these Meta Facebooks coming, Amazon. It's like, yeah, he cares about that, but does he care about where the small businesses opening up on the west side, where the small businesses open up on the north side? He's not worried about the things that he said he was going to do. He cares about all of Montgomery. I care about the south side, the north side, the west side, not just East Montgomery, not just downtown, but yet all the new developments as far as when it comes to more like innovative things or things that's new that people can go enjoy. That's on the east side. It's the east side and downtown. Everything's going there. He's literally, things are happening under him that he said he didn't want to just focus on, but that's all he's focused on. Because what's going on the west side? Yeah, they got industries coming over there. And I had somebody mention this right here. This was a great point. Shout out to him too. I don't know if he's gonna watch this or not, but once I say it, he'll know who he is. He said Montgomery is a different type of city because this guy does a lot of traveling, all right, worldwide traveling. And he was saying in most cities, when you're building like a Meta, Facebook, Amazon, Hyundai, or whatever type of huge billion-dollar, type of industry coming to a city, usually there's a lot of residential building and residential flow. People want to move to that area. But in Montgomery, the west side, people are moving from the west side, but you're building industry over there. And he said that's very odd. Most times you don't see that. You see something big get built, and then you see people move into that area because they want to be close to it, or either to work or whatever the case is. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. When Hyundai got built, it didn't happen. We got Meta, Facebook over there. You got a Dollar General distribution over there that took the place of Winn-Dixie. You got what are they building right now? I don't know if I said Amazon. So you got all these, and they're like side by side. They're like side by side. You go down Mobile Highway and it's like boom, it's like you got Meta, Facebook, Amazon, Hyundai, like right there in the same area. But what's over there? There's like nothing over there but South Lawn neighborhood. Who else is moving that way? Who else is moving that way? People are moving from the west side and north side and south side. They're moving to the east side. How many Amazon type places or distribution centers and stuff are on the east side? Nah, there's not many. You got DOS. I think DOS is over there by Chantilly. But there's not really industries like that over there. What makes up the east side? What makes the east side different from the rest of Montgomery? What makes them different? You got more you got a lot of mom and pop businesses. A lot of them. Not only mom and pop, you got a bunch of corporate businesses. You got a mall, a staple mall area. You got the interstate. People always say, man, the interstate, man, they came into the hood and they put the interstate over here and then messed up the hood. Well, they got an interstate that flows right by East Chase, right beside it. Working out pretty good. But and you got all these businesses, right? But what's another thing that's been happening in the East Chase area? Housing. You got those apartments, Broad Street or whatever they're called, right in East Chase. You got Berry Hill apartments right there off Berry Hill Road, right by East Chase. You got what's the other one called? Oh my gosh, the apartments that's right there off Berry Hill too. If I'm not mistaken, it's Berry Hill. I can't even think of it right now, but it's the apartments right there. But housing is huge. Let's see here. My guy David's on here, man. Shout out to David. Appreciate you. Soft on crime. Got city jobs making great money for crime prevention, and yet they have zero authority. Fact. Yeah. Yep. I mean, they got a whole department called the Office of Crime Prevention. What do they do? Look, man, I know a lot of people that know those individuals in that department, and they say, you know, they're doing a good job or they can do more if they had better resources and that type of thing. What more? I don't. I'm still really confused. What is the purpose of that department? What do they do? Because I mean, what more resources would they need? They literally got the stamp and approval of the mayor. So it seemed like the resources are there as far as the money is there. But what are they doing? I don't know. I don't know. It to me it just looks like one of those things that you do for optics to make something look like you're doing something, but you're really not. And then when something does happen, like something bad happens, these people show up and they're like the face of like we're Mayor Reed is doing an awesome job and he's doing this and that. It seems like they're more like protecting him. It's more of a buffer for him, so he don't have to go out there and face the people. That's what that would look like to me. I don't I know I got like a little different view on stuff, but that's what I see. I don't see anything being done. People only hear one side and not the other two sides of everything. Yep, yep. And Mary Reed got like 3, 4 sides to him, so we ain't got to know all of them yet. We only seen maybe like one or two. He got way more. Um, that's the county, not the city. What was he talking about? Uh, that's county commission getting those businesses here. Oh, okay, I got you. He is a coat rider and thinks he is diabolical. Yeah, man, that's what he said. He said he's diabolical. He told us. I don't know. People need to start taking people at their word. When they say something, that's what they mean. Ask anyone at the Montgomery airport who comes and goes from the city. Ooh. Woo. With zero housing, it's because of crime and costs. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I've always said, like, who wants to build in an area that has extreme high crime, property crime, violent crime? Like, who wants to open up a business in that? Like, people that live in that area, an area that's known for crime and everything, they want a grocery store. They want these businesses, but does it make financial sense to, especially if you're a mom and pop? Why would you want to open your store in an area where you're going to get robbed all the time, burglarized? You're going to have shoplifting, and God knows what else is going to happen, right? That's going to hurt your business. Like I'm just saying, like I don't get people. People just kind of like people just say stuff when it comes to wanting businesses, or they expect a certain part of the city to just magically change overnight. And it's like, you do realize that, I mean, if you don't want to go over there at this time of night, or if you don't want to go in that area in daytime, why would you expect a business to want to come here to Montgomery and build and grow? Because best believe they're going to get all these businesses get all the crime stats before they go open a business. They already know, okay, there's been 3 murders over here in the last 2 years. They've had every business that's been over here has shut down because of crime and theft and burglaries and stuff. So, okay, they're gonna get with the insurance company. Okay, what can we be insured for or whatever? Okay, we can be insured for this right here. It's gonna cost you something because you in one of them areas. Just one of them spots. All right. So, okay, well, you know what? It don't make sense for me. All right, never mind. Because after I pay the insurance and after I get the headache of dealing, I ain't gonna. Who wants to deal with that? I'm gonna go take my tail right on over there to the east side where the folks know how to act. All right. At least, you'd rather deal with the disgruntled customer that's just complaining about nothing. You'd rather deal with that person than deal with getting robbed, shot at, your place windows broken and all that. Nobody wants to deal with that. Right. And I used to manage Dollar Generals, and I lost count of the times that I had to go up there in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning for being burglarized the front wind glass broken. And what do they go in there and get? What they going in? They go in there and get food. Do people go and, because I've heard people say they rob and steal because they need stuff. They need money and they need food and stuff. Then people go in there and every time I've ever gone to one of my stores that got broken into, they've never stolen food. It's always cigarettes, alcohol, and anything electronic that they can find. That's what they go for. They're not going. Nobody's breaking into Walmart, Dollar General, Family Dollar to go to go steal snacks and food. Right? They're not buying food. They're not getting food, stealing food. They're stealing cigarettes and things that they can sell on the street or that they can use for pleasure, not because they need it. The builders and investors are to blame as well because they know no one wants to live in those locations. Yeah, it's just mm, that's a tough thing because I think most people, and me included, I would love to see a Montgomery that is vibrant as far as all sides, north, south, west, east, downtown, wherever, midtown. Like, it would just be great to see all these areas grow up in economically, and also just not be the crime that's out here. Like, it would just be great to be able to go to different places of parts of the city and enjoy it without worrying about where you are and what time it is, who's out here, what could happen. Like, that would be great. But we are a long way from that. Long way from it. Somebody mentioned one of the callers called in to the radio show Wednesday and was asking me, was I around or do I remember when the Montgomery Mall started, its decline and then ultimately closed? And I'm like, yeah, I'm actually, he don't know, but I'm from over there. That's my area. All right. So yeah, I know all about that. I was there for the whole thing. Um, and the thing about that is the Montgomery Mall, I think if people look at that whole situation, that whole area that happened in the late 90s, really started in it kind of started around, I would say, the mid 90s. And then by, 2000, early 2000s, it was done. So we're talking about a decade of time. Over about a decade of time, you saw areas of Montgomery like Woodley Park, um, East South Boulevard. So all the neighborhoods right there. Chuck E. Cheese's used to be right there on East South Boulevard. I used to work there. And the neighborhood right there behind it, that area, with that Strathmore Drive, and I forgot the name of the other streets. But you got the four-way back there. That whole area. At one time in the 90s, you had Chuck E. Cheese right there. You had an IHOP next door. You had across the street was there was a Godfather Pizza, Showbiz, which was like a Chuck E. Cheese, was right across the street from Chuck E. Cheese. There was a movie theater over there. Like, you had things going on right up in that area that were, family friendly things to do. Family friendly things. If I'm not mistaken, there was even a putt-putt place in that area right there. And what happened? Did the government come in and make those businesses close? Is that what happened? I don't think that's really what happened. I don't think they came in and said, y'all can't be over here no more. Y'all need to move to the east side. I don't think that's how it happened. So I'm like, what happened? Well, certain things that weren't happening before, as far as when it came to crime, these things started happening: robberies, break-ins. You started having more shootings and killings, homicides. You started having those things happen more often. Now, why did they start happening? What changed to where the crime level increased? There were certain people that moved in you know. And as certain people moved in, certain people moved out. Now you can't get mad at the people that move out because certain people moved in and certain things started happening that they're not used to happening, right? Nobody wants to live in an area where you got to look over your shoulder. You can't sleep well at night because you don't know if somebody's gonna break in your house, and whatever the case, it could get real bad. So people moved away. People decided to move somewhere else to a safer environment, and as a result, um, those neighborhoods started getting more crime infested. And as those neighborhoods got more crime infested, the businesses around the neighborhoods where those people would go to and they can access quickly, right? Because they live in the same area. Those businesses started to feel that because they were either getting robbed, they were seeing, less people coming into the business because people don't want to be out at certain times of the day or night or whatever. And so it affects the business from different angles, right? As a result, you had those businesses close, move, relocate, and the mall just died a slow death. And I mean, like I said, it took about a good, about a 10-year span, but businesses started to leave. The food court started to diminish. You had, I don't know, 20 restaurants or something like that in the food court, and you would go in there and it'd be, 16. You go in there a couple months later, it's 10. You know what I'm saying? And as that's going on, there are stores leaving. And it's because of the crime issue, not because it wasn't just because certain people moved in and like that certain people moving into a place doesn't make businesses want to leave, right? Because businesses want to make money. So if somebody moving in, that's just a new customer, right? But when you're having to deal with the repercussions of those certain individuals moving in, that's going to drive you out. And that's what happened to the East South Boulevard. I watched it happen. Unfortunately, like my generation was the ones who was really actively doing the things that were making those businesses leave. The same thing for Town Center, I think is what it's called. At Troy Highway and the Boulevard, there used to be a Winn-Dixie right there. Windsong movie theater used to be right there on the end. There was a Just for Feet there for a little while. Y'all know the area. It used to be a Barnes and Nobles. And there were some other places. All that, man, that whole shopping center died. It died. Again, because of the amount of crime and things that was happening. You can't blame businesses or people for moving and relocating to a better environment. Can't get mad at that. Can't get mad at it. Now, I mean, personally, it would be great to see people face whatever is coming into the area and face it head on and then drive it. Instead of you getting driven out, you drive out the cancer that's coming in, right? That would be awesome. But that's just not how, humans tend to operate. Because I don't care how you look, what background you come from. When you have a certain standard of life, a certain standard of living, you have a family and you want your family to be in the best situation possible, you're going to move from where you may have came from, all your people over there and stuff. You don't want your family in that environment. Like, you got the common sense to know they don't need to be in this. So you're going to go somewhere else. And nobody should get mad about that. But for some reason, when it comes to Montgomery, people get upset about certain individuals leaving and going other places, and they feel like it's those people's fault that certain areas of Montgomery have died, right, or are dying. It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. You know, and Montgomery is you know what, 70% black from what I've been hearing. Um 70% black, you know, black, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe in race, but you know, we're gonna talk about, you know, just the world, how the world talks. So they'll say, you know, they're only gonna put police in certain areas of the city because that's the areas that they're, you know, making their money off of. That's the people who are, you know, they got a bigger word, or that, you know, their word means more because they're in a better area of the city or whatnot. So when they ask for protection from the city, they're gonna give it to them, right? And they're like, you know, there's an issue with that. Um, there's no part of Montgomery where those same people that are supposed to be the, you know, the more well off people, when they say something it gets done, a lot of them people are black because there's not a part of Montgomery that, like, there's no where is the white part of Montgomery? I would love to know this. Like, what's the white part of Montgomery? Because if you're on the west side, you got a good bit of white people over there. Um, you know, but still, there's black folks everywhere on the west side, north side, south side. I mean, even in the east. So then when you go to the east, let's look at the east side. Go to go to any business in East Chase. That's ain't no more east side than East Chase. Go into a store and tell me who's working in there. Go to the neighborhoods around East Chase. All those halcyon neighborhoods, it's like 10 halcyons, like Halcyon Summit, Halcyon South, Halcyon, all kind of stuff. Go to all them neighborhoods and tell me who you see. It's very diverse over there. Very diverse. It ain't no just white and all that. No, it's not. No. So we gotta get away from the whole, you know, color thing, like where there's certain parts of the city that's, you know, certain color controls it and stuff. No, they don't. No, that's not in Montgomery. I don't know about another city, but there's no white part of Montgomery. There's no, matter of fact, our leadership ain't even, you know, white. So uh I don't see how white people are really having, if white people was in control, do y'all think we'd have this crime that we got? Uh-oh. If white people was running things like they was running things back in, you know what, the 80s, 90s or whatever, um or I'd say probably like 80s, 70s, 80s. Montgomery was a whole different city back then. Like, I mean, I don't care nothing about it being a color thing. Those people, when they was running it, man, there was not crime like this. It was not like this. Montgomery was there. The high schools were better. The high schools just were better. It's just over time. I mean, it ain't. I don't, you know. I don't know if it's the urbanization. I don't know whatever we want to call it, man. But it's like it's a certain mentality of people that come from a certain area. They just don't have the same, you know. And I grew up in there too, so I get it. I do get it, and I try to explain it and break it down to where people can more understand. Because a lot of people are not from that type of environment. So, um, like, I don't know. It's just when they come from that environment, their standard of living is just different. It's just different. They don't have the same respect for authority. They don't have the same respect for the community as a whole. Just it's just a different way of living, and so everything that happens is said to them or whatever. Those people from that environment, they look at everything as somebody's trying to diminish them, talk down to them. They're being racist to them. And it's like, okay, so every time you have an interaction, there's always racism. You're always the victim in every situation. Like it's just kind of like it's kind of embedded into the mindset of people in this area, these types of areas. So when anything happens, as far as like a government, like let's say police come and they do something, they have to shoot somebody, right? Well, the people that live there, by and large, most of them are gonna speak out and say the person didn't deserve it. Although the person deserved it, because they put out their gun first and shot shot 2 officers. But because the officers shot back, God forbid they did that, and defended themselves. But the thing is, the people, no matter what happened, there are people who their standard of living is so different that they'll look at that situation and say, the police still didn't have to shoot him 8 times. They're gonna find something that they can say was done incorrectly, was done improperly by police. Because it can never be the fault 100% on that person. This is why, like, my view of things is a little bit different, because I came from the environment of a lot of these type people, like that kind of like that street mentality. So a lot of the people who you hear talking about the black community and how policing needs to change or how this and that, most of these people are not from the bottom. These people are from middle class. Their neighbors were white and Asian and everything else, but they've built themselves up to be able to speak to people that look like them, but they didn't have the same lifestyle. They didn't come up the same way. They didn't have the same childhood. They didn't develop the same, right? Their experiences are not the same. But because they look like the person, people just take them at their word and say, oh, all the white people look over there. White people say, well, let's listen to her because she's talking from a black experience. She ain't even from the hood. She probably came up better than you did. But because she looks a certain way, you're going to listen to what she got to say. And it's a bunch of crap. But then you talk to people that actually are from the environment, and a lot of times they'll give you a better perspective of really what's happening, because they really came up in the environment. There's a communication gap in this, right? Like people that call in on radio show, I'm gonna have to start asking them, like, where are you from? Like, where did you grow up? Because the things that they say is like, did you really experience this, or are you just telling me something that you think is gonna sound good to people who do grow up like that? Right? You think it's gonna make you sound better to them. Like they just say like the craziest things. I'm like, I wasn't raised in Deer Creek. I wasn't raised in Halcyon. I wasn't raised in some of these areas that's like, like where I live right now. My kids grow up in something I never had when I was growing up. I never lived in a house. I didn't live in a house until I was a grown man. Facts. Word my guy David. Facts. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that like that. When I moved into a house in 2019, that's how recent. 2019, when I moved into our house, that was like, man, I cried tears on the inside. Cause you talking about somebody who all I knew was trailer park. All I knew was apartments. All I knew, I lived in a townhouse when I was in 3rd grade. But most of my years growing up was in a trailer park. And the experiences that I had and what I saw are, make me look at things a certain way. And people often will they use their image to connect with people. But they really had no idea what they're talking about. And those are the people who grew up, in a more privileged situation because privilege, it does exist, right? I just don't believe in like white privilege and all that because I think privilege is you can be any color and have it. And it's when you got a mommy and a daddy, or you grow up with a certain certain amount of money and stuff like that to try to like, educate you and things, give you other experiences other than just every day being on the block. You're privileged. And so these people with this privilege to grow up in good areas, have their mommy and daddy and stuff, a lot of times they grow up and they're the ones who vote for the Stephen Reeds of the world. They grow up and they vote for the Stephen Reeds. And Stephen Reed is just like them. He has the image of a so-called black man, but he didn't grow up with the lifestyle and live the experiences of the assumed nature of a black man in Montgomery. So he talks to people from the hood as if he's from the hood, when in reality, his daddy is this big wig in politics. You know what I'm saying? Him, his brother, they all them went to college, graduated, got like a law degree or whatever the degree they had, which Mayor Reed, I don't think he has a law degree, but I think his brother does. And Mayor Reed was probate judge, now he's the mayor. So you have a lineage of well-to-do people. But he talks like, I'm just one of y'all. But he's not. He's not as far as his life experiences. And I think it shows. To me, his actions as mayor have shown that his life experiences to be connected to and be one with. Because if he really did act out based on his experiences, if he really acted as mayor based on being from the hood, he would have different policies. He would be a better mayor because he would really understand what it's like to be from a certain place. And you really want to protect those people. And he really don't care. He really does not care. Cause who does he always talk to? If you ever see him talking to somebody on camera and stuff, it's like aside from going to like these little hood concerts that he does or whatever, but like just generally speaking, when he's out and about, he's talking to other politicians, business owners, right? He's talking to people who got money or influence. He ain't talking to Miss Annie Mae Joe over there in Woodley Park, or over in Regency Park or somewhere. He ain't going over there. No more. He ain't from there. He probably can't even name you a street in Regency Park. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's I've sat back and I watched certain things, and and when you sit back and watch and you observe, you're able to see the movements of people and kind of why they do what they do. And people see me and they have certain assumptions about how I grew up and stuff, because they can't see me coming from where I came from, and that's great. I'm so glad. I'm glad that I don't appear to have gone through the things that I've gone through, and I've gone through a hell of a lot. But that's what I'm saying. People just they just have a certain view of whatever, and then they just run on that view of whatever, and it's usually not the right one because they haven't really asked the right questions, or they haven't sat back and watched enough to really see certain things. But those who seek understand, right? When you seek it, you can attain it. Rarely does things just fall in your lap, right? I mean, that's it does happen. Not saying it don't happen, but most times you seek certain things and then you find it out, or you find out something that you didn't expect to find out because you went to seek a certain thing. Oh man, oh Montgomery, man, Montgomery. I think one day, I think one day things will turn around, but things have to get to like a peak. Like you get to everything kind of goes in cycles, right? So you have a town that gets built, and then it's growing, right? So everything is good. It's good right now because it's growing. You're bringing in businesses, bringing in people. You're building up your economy, your schools, and everything like that. And at a certain point, it's going to reach its peak. Like your population will get to a certain spot, your economy and all that stuff will get to a certain spot, and then you'll start to once you get to a peak, what happens? You start declining, right? And so it's like Montgomery got to a peak. I don't know whatever year that was. Probably was like the 60s or something, 70s. It got to a peak, and then it started to slowly uh decrease and drop. And so right now, we're at pretty much the opposite of that peak. The peak was up here. We were down here. We come all the way down to now we down here. Now it's going the bottom. We ain't at the bottom. We down, way down, but we're not at the bottom. It can get worse. And the way we're going right now with who we have leading us, we're gonna get worse. All right, just know that we're gonna get worse. Um, Now once we hit that the worst, then I think that's when things will start to improve, because now I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I think at a certain point it'll start improving. That's my hope, because I don't see it improving right now. It's just not going to improve. Not with who we have in office. It's not going to improve. Not because it can't, but because the certain people we have that's running things don't want it to, because the things that they need to do to improve it, they're not going to do. They haven't done it. They're not going to do it. So we're right now we're stuck. We just on a downward. We're on a roller coaster, and we've already hit that peak, and we're coming down. So now we just ride. We just riding. And that's a bad place to be too, man. This is a bad place to be. But as voters in Montgomery, the voters spoke twice, and they put in Mayor Reed twice. So we reap what we sow. Here we are. But best believe Mayor Reed is he's getting his too. He's getting his too. Yep. He's getting his too, because it's it ain't going as smoothly as he would have hoped. Yep, yep. Oh man, what time is it? 10:50. Yeah, I've been on here 2 hours, man. I'm finna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Wrap this thing up, man. I'm a person that I can sit back and be quiet like a lot. Like I don't do a whole lot of talking, but when I get on here, man, I can talk, man, because it's so much going on, and so much that can be talked about, and it's like, I just have like uh I don't know, like a passion or whatever for like doing research and like politics and things. And when I was younger, I couldn't stand politics. Like when I was like 18, 19, I couldn't stand politics. One of my mentors when I was in North Carolina, I was in college and I was doing an internship. And the place I was doing the internship at, it was a substance abuse counseling center. And so the guy who's the director, he told me, he said, um, he always had something like real wise to say, but he used to um he used to say, you know, always, be quick to listen and slow to speak. And I heard other people say that, but he used to say that like a lot because when you're doing that type of environment, when you're in that environment, you your people are coming in. They got drug offenses. They just got out of jail. They got to complete his program. If they complete his program and whatever the amount of time is, then they get their sentence reduced or they get released. Right. So there was a huge incentive for them people to come in there. But so when they come in, you would do the intake and you would, hear their story, and he would say, just listen to it. Just listen. You listen and you'll find out a lot. A whole lot. You find out everything you need to know. And then he would tell me, there would be certain lawyers or like the DA would come in or like defense attorneys. They used to come in and have their whatever their meetings about different programs and whatnot. And I remember one time he told me, man, I said, man, have you ever thought about like running for like some type of office or something? Because he just had like this he had a good spirit about himself. He was a leader. Um he spoke well, he understood people and he listened to people. He just had a great demeanor. And I'm like, you should probably run for office. He said, nah, man. He said, no, no, no. I can never be a part of politics. He said, no, 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 it's not for me. Not for me. And at that time I didn't really quite understand what he was meaning by that. But now the more I've gotten involved in learning about certain things and knowing people and stuff, I can see exactly what he meant. Exactly what he meant by that. Because when you're in politics, you gotta certain things you have to compromise on. And if you don't compromise on them, you're gonna have a very short shelf life as far as being in politics. The people who stay in politics forever, they doing a whole bunch of compromising. They doing a whole bunch of underhanded things because there's no way that you flying straight and you lasting that long, right? Just, I mean, I don't see that. I don't see it. I don't see it because everybody that I know that are they fly straight. They haven't been in politics. They haven't been in an office consistently over like 15, 20 years. They done 4 years here, 2 years there. Um, they did, a couple years here, and then they went over here and did something over here, but they haven't been in one position. Like a Joe Biden was in Congress for like 40 years straight. Nancy Pelosi, she was however long she was in over there in California in Congress. Like, you don't do that unless you doing some underhanded stuff. And so I understand now what he was talking about. He didn't want to compromise himself, his beliefs, and he was a reverend too. So he was a man of God, and he just wasn't gonna go for it. But yeah, it's really great to listen to different people's experiences. Always good, always good, and that's part of the reason why I'm here. And I want to say thank you again to Adonus Huffman for coming on in the beginning of the show. Had him on for about a good 40 minutes or so, and had a great conversation, man. Y'all need to go check that out. I'm gonna clip that and put that clip out as well in the set as a separate video. But thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for liking the video, sharing it. And if you're watching the replay, like and share. I appreciate it so much. Head over to the Captain's Quarter Show Facebook page. Hit the like, hit the follow. And also go to my YouTube, From Left to Right USA. From Left to Right USA. Hit that subscribe. I appreciate it. And I think that's about it. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's Friday. Stay cool, especially if you're in Alabama. My Lord. Anyway, this was the Captain's Quarter Show. I was your host, L. Milliner, the Captain. Until next time, I'm gone.